My name's Sam. I'm 31 weeks pregnant at the moment and I've only got 9 weeks to go, which is pretty exciting. It's been quite a long journey, I suppose.
I'm 21. I have 2 daughters, Michaela and Amelia. Yeah, one's 3 and one's about 6 weeks old. I fell pregnant at 17 and had her at 18. So yeah, it wasn't planned. No, it was a pretty rough time. When I found out, the first thing I'd done was actually I cried because I just thought to myself that I was stuck.
I'm April. I was 23 when I had Regan. It was an unexpected pregnancy. Scary, but I was happy at the same time. Didn't feel like it was real till I felt the first kick, and it was amazing. I was just like, whoa, that's my baby.
From the exciting days of finding out, through the lovely morning sickness and waking up all the time, needing to go to the bathroom, I suppose it gets pretty uncomfortable at times.
Just thinking, oh, what's the birth going to be like? Is it going to go for days? Is it going to be a quick one? Because you just hear so many stories from friends and family that have gone through that.
I get freaked out really easily being a first-time mum, and so everyone's pregnancies are different. You hear all these horror stories. It's pretty scary thinking, is that going to happen to me?
When I first found out that I was pregnant on the 10-week mark, there was apparently something wrong with her bone structure. We also got told that I had 2 decisions, and they were pretty big ones. It was either I go 3 months early into my labour and I get her pretty much ripped out and terminated, or I go full-term birth and give birth to her and then she'll survive about 6 hours and then die. So it's full-on stuff. It was very rough. Yeah, but then it just turned out she's just little.
Like, everyone's like, oh, after the first trimester your morning sickness goes away, and I'm like...
That's not always true.
Yeah,
I had morning sickness all the way up to 26 weeks.
I didn't get morning sickness, I didn't.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't go off eating food.
My midwife, Claire, she is absolutely amazing, and she helps us through our hatched class and goes through all the stages of pregnancy and labour and even what some of the things to expect afterwards are, just to help you feel a little bit more comfortable and less scared.
I look after pregnant women of all ages, but I also tend to specialise a little bit in looking after adolescent women from the start of their pregnancy right through to their birth and afterwards. A midwife's role is to care for women and their babies throughout pregnancy and during their birth and during the postpartum or after baby period. Very happy baby in there. I run fortnightly groups where we talk a lot about pregnancy and a lot about the importance of eating well. What we really encourage is that skin-to-skin time, and whether you're planning on, I think everyone's planning on breastfeeding at the moment, whether you're planning on breastfeeding or not at the time, that skin-to-skin time, so baby straight on your chest, is the most important time that you'll ever get. Please don't get on Facebook straight away or text or call, just enjoy that time because you'll never get that time back again, ever.
I'd say natural's better than caesarean. Once like the baby's out, you know, it's like nothing ever happened. You know, a caesarean takes 6 weeks, and you're pretty much paralysed.
Regan was engaged for the last 6 weeks of my pregnancy. He went 3 days over and ended up being breached, so I had no choice but to have a caesarean, which is not as bad as what some people say they are. The worst part about having a caesarean but is you can't hold your baby straight away. You look at them and they'll lay the baby on your chest and you just think, oh, I want to hold him and just give him cuddles and don't let go. But you can't because you got cords hanging off your arms and
the first time you look in their eyes, they just sparkle and they shine, and it's adorable. It's like, wow, I made them. Wow, they're like crystals. They're real cute.
Babies need to be cuddled, they need to be held, they need to be loved. When you've actually got another little baby there too, you might need a bit of support. You might have days where you're really depressed, you feel really stressed, you've been up half the night.
We have an image of what birth and parenting should be like, and quite often in reality, it doesn't matter how old you are, it never turns out like that. I try and focus on just introducing those realities early on during pregnancy, that you're not going to be able to sleep until 11 o'clock every day, and you're probably going to be not doing much sleeping at night time either, and babies cry, and that's normal.
Depending on your baby too, like it was hard because Regan had a bit of colic, so it was like on all different formulas and stuff like that, and had a screaming baby for a week straight of a night time, and it's a bit hectic, but you grow with it and you do get used to stuff like that.
You learn just to like manage and just cope really.
And always have a sleep when the baby's asleep, because the first few weeks are a bit hectic and tiring.
I don't know, they don't sort of come with a manual or nothing, you sort of just go with the flow.
Put people's opinions into consideration.
Some half the time.
A lot of people were really excited, and they're just like, oh, congratulations, and they're so excited to meet the new baby and go through the pregnancy journey with me and help me out and give me advice. Whereas there's always those people who always criticise you and think because you're young you can't do it.
But everyone would stare at me because the baby would be screaming, and I'm a young mum, so they'd be looking at me like, are you going to maintain this child? Getting the public transport everywhere, and my 3-year-old will be cracking it or having a tantrum or wanting to swap seats while the bus is moving, and it's, you've got to tell her no, so she'll start screaming. Everyone stares at you. It's just like... Well, that was very lovely, Michaela.
Whoa.
You just don't know what can happen. Like, someone can ring docs or something on you or anything. Like, it's not good, you just get judged a lot.
As I've gone through everything, it's more just, I find, proving to yourself that you can be a mother, and it's your journey with your partner, and it doesn't have to involve anyone else unless you want it to.
Yeah, mum or close friend or sister, cousin, someone that you're really close to and they've had kids, is always best support, and they can give you their experience.
What we've lost in our local community, and which Indigenous people do beautifully, is having aunt and uncle or ma and pa or mum and dad or any of those family members look after their children. Some of our other mothers aren't so fortunate, and they don't have those traditional networks that can assist them. So that's where we can come in, and we can provide those supports and develop that community connection so that they're able to access them in other ways.
It's actually really hard, without a mum and a dad, it's actually really hard. So it's sort of like you and your family against the world sort of thing. Like,
essentially, they're young, healthy women. Their pregnancies are generally quite low risk, but in saying that, they've also got a lot of risk factors associated with them. They often come from lower socioeconomic groups. They have higher risks of mental health issues, often drug and alcohol involvement, and it's really important for us to provide a higher level of support for them during their pregnancy.
It takes a village to raise a family, and we do that here by connecting them to their community. We surround them with professionals that are going to help them along their way, and we work collaborative with those services to get the best outcomes for the families.
My biggest challenge was probably not being in my own house, to be able to have a nursery and stuff for my baby, because I couldn't use a change table and stuff. It just had to be real basic. It was just housing, being cramped in one room with a baby and stuff. It's terrible hard. Regan's 17 months and I still haven't got a house.
Some people have that village to raise the family. What they need is support against the prejudices that they face within the community. So we're helping them bridge that gap.
But what happens when you've got fractured family systems? What happens when there's been violence? When women have had to leave because of fear, because of they've been threatened, they've been assaulted, their child has witnessed this. We have a terrifying amount of violence in Australia, terrifying.
Pretty sure it is common. There's a lot of women and young girls out there that they don't speak up about it. And I know how they feel, and it's like you can't speak up and sort of move because they're going to track you and something's going to happen, and pretty bad state of mind that your sort of headset goes into.
For young people, that type of abuse is quite common. However, it's not often reported because they're embarrassed. You know, these are young people who are still very much ingrained in that schoolyard stuff. As if I tell my peers, this makes me different, and that's not okay.
Sort of just look at your child, and you don't want her or him growing up to see that sort of stuff. Like it's wrong. It's not fair on them. So yeah, you just sort of have to just pack up and go and do what you got to do, no matter your situation, really.
You know what? It is not okay. Violence is not okay, and the midwives, they're there to help you.
You know, if there's any problems, they often will come to me, and I might be able to help. I might be able to put them in touch with services, which is really important to keep the girls engaged with services in the community.
If they see or be brought up around people swearing and fighting and carrying on, well, of course they're going to know that. If you can bring them up to not be around that, it'd be awesome, because their little brains are little sponges, they soak in everything.
The more supports that we can put into the early years work, the better. We need to get over the fact that we've got a thing about mental health and about depression and anxiety. It is there. It is running in family systems intergenerationally. We're talking about not just our family's future, but the kids of the future, our community.
Your journey changes all the time. Like, sometimes you do feel really alone in it because it's frustrating you so much that they can't feel what you're feeling inside, and it makes you sometimes cranky and feeling really alone and down. Other times you feel like they're in it with you, and there'll just be that one moment where they'll do something or say something and it just melts your heart. You just feel like it's so nice to have you here, even if it's a family member or your partner. It's really nice to kind of switch that journey up a bit.
Being pregnant and having a baby is massively life-changing. However, you know, if times are tough, get some support. Keep your dreams, Get your education, go back to school, do some fun stuff. You know, work with people who respect dreams, you know, who take care of you. I think most mums really always want to do the best. If they're not supported, it's really hard for them to do so. They need childcare, they need transport, access to food security. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of.
And I love seeing them develop into little mums and really good mums, and watch them go through that process of being really scared, of being pregnant and not knowing how they're going to cope, to then turning into this woman who's birthing her baby beautifully. And yeah, it's really lovely.
Everything, you expect everything to change. As soon as you have that first baby and you look at their face, you're just like, oh no, something clicks. And you're just like, it's all different now. Like,
Once you have the baby, your mother instincts just kick in. And
yeah.
you're just like, yeah, I can do that.
Just never be afraid to ask for people's help. You'd be surprised how many people are out there who really love to help you.
Probably just say enjoy your pregnancy and enjoy your baby when you get to meet them, and have fun. Don't make it miserable, just make it really fun, because it's a good thing being a mum. It's a good thing.